Why, hello and welcome back to all of my friends and fellow FTFLers to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show update out there. That's right, boys and girls. It is time once again and for the last time this season for the FTFL weekly update. And yes, I am not only the host of this show, not only the two-time league champion, but I am also your reigning I am no longer your league champion, but of course, always the champion of your heart. That's right. It is I, Brett Sieber. Welcome back. Final episode of Season 7 of the FTFL Weekly Update. Season 7. I can't even really put into words just how nuts it is to say that. But you know what? I didn't say the final season of the FTFL Weekly Update. Nay. We will continue on next year, and I'm sure it'll be just as much fun as it has been all along. And as I mentioned, top of the show, no longer your reigning, defending, undisputed champion. There is a new reigning, defending, yet disputed champion of the FTFL. That is Eric. We're going to get to that game later. And of course, Eric defied all odds, and the Reaper himself, who just laid waste and just created all sorts of havoc here in the league this year. But in the end, was the Reaper just a man in a costume? I don't know. Eric got reaped. Eric reaped the benefits. I don't know where we go from here. One thing I do know is, as a parent, that Make America Great and Glorious Again won't be part of the league next year. Not entirely sure what that means or what that looks like, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see and let time play out. Now, we are going to talk about the championship game. We are going to talk a little bit about, I suppose, Jeff Markser and Sid Hagen, the third place game. I'm going to take a little bit of time at the end of the show to review the champs list. You know, we went through the cringy nominations. You can see behind me here, I have the repurposed DSM Award, because, of course, DSM, as you remember, quit fantasy football. Remember, though, I talked about how he actually helped and was not only helped draft, but was helped running his girlfriend's team in her league. That's right, left us for somebody else. And I found out last night that she won. He won. Who cares? You know what? You're a fraud, Ryan Deesum. You are a fraud. But we already went through the cringy nominations. I gave gifts last week. I want to put a bow on the champs list. We're going to get to that. Now that the season is over, officially, Matt, you are on the clock for the draft, which the draft date will be mentioned at the end of the show. I said it, when Peter beat you were officially on the clock, but now it's officially official that you are on the clock. Number one overall pick in the 2023 FTFL draft. Get your money to Sid so he can get the money to all the winners, of course, which weren't me. Last but certainly not least, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Damar Hamlin. News today that the dude out of the hospital, back at home recovering, 9 days after his heart stopped on the football field. Holy crap. I will never forget where I was, who I was with, watching that moment. And yeah, guess what? That moment had an impact that rippled through fantasy leagues across the country. And guess how many people cared? 0. Because in the end, this is just a game that was absolutely 100% real life. And we are thrilled that Mr. Hamlin is out of the hospital and still well on his way on the road to recovery. Now, the game, of course, that was affected the most. But again, in the end, who cares? Pack Attack coming in at 12-3, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 12-3. Eric, the best team to start the season. Andy, the best team down the stretch. When it came down to it, when all the cards were on the table, 86 points for Eric, 67.5 for Andy. If you're Eric, Amari Cooper, 23.5 points. Picked a hell of a week to have the best game all season. Jerick McKinnon, 16.5 points. So he was a late season pickup for Eric. By the way, Jerick McKinnon over the first 12 weeks of the season had 34.5 points, just under 3 points a week. In weeks 13 through 17, where Eric needed him the absolute most, 90.5 points, almost tripled his output over the final 5 weeks of the season, 18 plus points a week. That was a huge factor in the Fantasy Bowl, as well as Cordell Patterson coming out of nowhere at 13 points. Travis Kelce definitely benefited from having McKinnon on the team. 5.5 for Travis. Weeks 1 through 15, he was averaging 13 plus. Weeks 16 to 17, when again, Eric needed him the most, he was only putting out about 7. Huge season for Travis Kelce. He's an all-timer, and he's now also an FTFL champion. Of course, Josh Allen, 0 points in a game that did not count. For Andy Jacksonville's defense, 16. Chris Godwin, 14.5. Gardner Minshew, that's right, Gardner Minshew got himself an FTFL championship game start. And it was a loss, 14 for him. CeeDee Lamb, 11.5. Dalvin Cook, 3. Lowest output of the season for Dalvin. Woo-wee, that's because you were all out in Green Bay getting your asses whipped. We might talk a little bit more about that. Maybe we won't, because of course the Packers season is now over. The Viking season really has been over since it started, yet they're still playing. Evan Ingram, who was a force down the stretch, 0 for Andy. Jamar Chase, 0. Najee, 15 on the bench, wouldn't have mattered in his starting lineup. Andy falls to 2-4 in fantasy bowls. Eric rises to 3-2, and in a repeat of the 2013 Fantasy Bowl, the results flip-flopped. Andy won that one. Eric wins this one. Congratulations again to Eric. Next up, third place game. And one last time, buddy. 4-time Lucky Pants breaking and entering title stealing, thieving McThief-face champ Mana. Coming in at 9-7, taking on Make America Great and Glorious again at 10-6. And even though Sid had Joe Mixon, who didn't play, he still outscored Jeff Markster's team 95-86.5. If you're Sid, Austin Eckler had himself a season. Sid probably, in some ways, should have done better. Now you're saying, well, Brady took third place. He did. Probably had a team that could have gone all the way. He paid dearly for it. And when the draft rolls around, we'll see what he has left then. Kirk Cousins, 16. Jacoby Myers, 11. Mark Andrews, 10.5. It was his first double digit since week 6. Too little, too late. Tyreek Hill, the Dallas defense both had 10. Justin, Mr. Gritty himself. Oh, my bad leg. Yeah, your leg stunk because Jare wiped the floor with you, son. Half point for Jefferson, the fraud. Sorry, Justin, the fraud, Jefferson. Although, credit to Justin Jefferson. Kept a level head throughout that game. Could have really caused some problems. Did swing his helmet around just once, but you know what? I'll let that go because it was great to watch Jare Gritty right in that man's face. If you're Marks or Travis, the Bozo Etienne, 19.5. A.J. Brown, great season for him. 18 points. Justin Fields, 14. Markster's Chubb only got up to 6.5, which I hear is somewhere probably near average for running backs. 11 plus on the season. In the end, those points probably could have helped Jeff a little bit. Probably wouldn't have mattered much. Sid is the third place champion. He gets the Crystal Pyramid. Jeff, I don't think you get much for fourth place. The AOK is for fifth place. I think we even have something for the Consolation Championship. But Jeff, you get squat because you took fourth place. Oh, boo-hoo, you won 2 other leagues that you were in because you win almost all the leagues you're in because you always do well in fantasy football because you're the luckiest Lucky Pants. By the way, not just the luckiest Lucky Pants. You're the 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title stealing, thieving McThief-face champ, Mana. All right, folks. Stud the dud, and then we're going to get up out of here. Short week this week. We really went long at the Holiday Hot Tub. Maybe, I had fun at the Holiday Hot Tub. I hope you enjoyed the Holiday Hot Tub. It may be something that going forward just becomes the annual holiday show is the Holiday Hot Tub. Start of the week, Amari Cooper, best game of the season. Dud of the week, Dalvin Cook, worst game of the season. Now, on to the champs list. We're talking about seasons that didn't go as planned. Mine. Now, however, I fell right in line with the last 2 champs. Andy was a champ, missed the playoffs the next year. I believe he's on the cringy for it. Jeff won the title. Next year, missed the playoffs. Last year, I won the title. This year, I missed the playoffs. Eric, start getting your early draft pick ready for the 2024 draft. Let's go quick here back to some of the people who wrecked and ruined my season. Number one on the champs list, we got to go all the way back. Might as well say this now. Former Coach Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett, you bum. I put a lot of faith, and I'm sure a lot of people did, in the Denver Broncos being better. They weren't. They were terrible. The Cardinals medical staff. Zach Ertz was in. Zach Ertz was out. He was hokey-pokeying himself all over the damn place. I didn't know who to play, so I had to play somebody else. Thanks. I lost that week. This one probably still rings true forever. Delusional Vikings fans. It was so much fun to see all of you at Lambeau Field a couple weeks ago, down 41-3 before you finally came out of it. How did you not score from the one? How did you not score from not just the 1 yard line, the 1 foot line? Delusional Viking fans. Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins. Throw Mike Gesicki the ball. He's a great tight end. No, I think we'll pass. We'll just let you toil and struggle throughout the first quarter of the season. Hey, thanks. Thanks a lot, Frank Smith. Oh, look who number 5 on the list. Russell Stupid Face Wilson. I should have seen this coming. I should have known that this was bad news from the onset. However, I didn't, and I dabbled, and I lost big. Next on the list, Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Not because you hurt me, Tom Brady, because you're just a buffoon. You had it all, and you flushed it all the way down the toilet to come back and play for a mediocre Bucs team. Well done, Tom Brady. Matt LaFleur, for some of your just poor play calling, and by the way, it continued in the Lions game here in Week 18. I think this season we learned a lot about Matt LaFleur as a coach. Having a great quarterback covers up a lot. Matt LaFleur, you have a huge task this offseason. Get better and hurry. Cole Kmet, I was like your biggest supporter, and then when I needed you the most, you trounced me. Thanks a lot, Cole Kmet. Also on the list this year, people who celebrate Christmas before Thanksgiving. Now, there are still lights up around the neighborhood, and that's fine. I'm okay with lights here in the darkness. That's okay. But remember, folks, November comes before December. Thus, ipso facto, Thanksgiving is before Christmas. A few more Aaron Rodgers doubters. The dude can play. The dude's a stud. It didn't finish up the way we'd wanted to. Guess what? He'll be back next year, and he will be my quarterback for the 2023 season. Maybe that was the mistake I made by not having him on there for the beginning. Could have been a different season altogether. 2 more here. Devontae Adams. Oh, Devontae, you could have stayed in Green Bay. You could have been amazing. No, I want to go play with my friend. I want to go to Las Vegas where there isn't any water, and I'll surely perish if everything turns south. I'm sorry, that got dark. True statement, though. Las Vegas has 0 water. Why people move there, I don't understand. But Devontae, you wanted it all, and you got left with nothing. Nothing. Have fun in Loserville, pal. The number muncher. Now, number muncher, you took seemingly great joy in the terrible season that I had, and I didn't really care for it, and it really made me upset. But you know what? You and every other person on this list, I forgive. Why carry all of this hatred with me? Why allow that to affect who I am on a daily basis? Why put myself through it? It didn't do me any good this season. It just didn't. And it won't do me any good carrying it forward. So you know what? The champs list, all have been forgiven. And with that, I want to wrap this show up. Don't forget, the draft, Saturday, August 26th. Will it be in Chicago? Maybe. I guess that's up to Eric. But I just want to send out a special thanks. A thank you to all of you. I mentioned beginning of the show, 7 seasons. 7 seasons of the FTFL Weekly Update. When I started, I thought, we'll probably do this for a little while. This is something fun that I've been kind of wanting to do. I never really envisioned it would become something that every person would be involved with. And when I was over at Sports House, he said something that definitely resonated. He said, the show belongs to all of us. And he was spot on. It absolutely does. And it's amazing that 4 months ago, I started this season, draft recap, sitting here, something I had waited 18 years to reclaim the championship. All year long, all the fun that we had, and it wasn't just me, it was so many people that helped put this show together. So thank you to each and every one of you. I couldn't do this without you, and thank you for just humoring me as I come out here and I sit and I talk to this camera in a room full of nobody else but myself. I wouldn't have it I would have it. I love when people come by and stop by. This league is amazing. All of you are amazing. And Eric, I'm going to leave this here. This no longer belongs to me. As much as it pains me to say that, as much as it pains me to set this down, I'm just going to set this right here. Eric, this is yours now. I hope you treat her well. I hope you enjoy her as much as I did. And until I see all of you next time, peace. You know what? That's a load of crap. And you know, I took me all of like 2 seconds of being outside before I realized what I said was complete and utter garbage. This season sucked because of every person on this list. You damn well better believe, I'm not forgiving a single soul on this list. This list took the champ down. And this list now is motivation. This list right here is how we fight our way back to the top. It stays right there. I don't care it fell down. That's the champs list, and this is my championship title. Sure, maybe I'm not the champ anymore, but I got 8 more months of hauling this thing around all over the globe. Eric, you may have won the title, but you got to wait, buddy, and you are going to have to endure picture after picture after picture of me and my sweet beauty right here. That's right, folks. Next year, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back with the vengeance. Peace! Buzz it, buzz it, buzz it.